I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the data showers. Till then, fuck that, the truth is out. And they say,
grace above, secrets staying hidden, man. SNL in the newscast, tell them Lou Elizondo got the last laugh. More specifically, Greer with the flash drive. Files so big they make your past die. Jack Barron with the deep dive, reverse engineering craft with a keen eye. I'm embodying characteristics of the mystic. He knows he's so veridic. I just need time alone with my own thoughts. Storming after my mind with the false lock. My childlike wonder, my cosmic odyssey gets drowned out by black ops and policy. Reality is catching up with me. My mind fights the veil of secrecy. With these briefings, they entrusted me. Looking down at my declassified piece like no one man should hide all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm flipping off the cowards. Till then, that the truth is ours. Colin Powell's cosmic prowlers, lost in the majestic files and CIA towers. They said we're the abomination of science fiction, but now fact man the transmission. At the end of the day, I'm exposed to this. You know damn well, y'all feeling this. I don't need clearance, I got my own dish. I shut down with tricks for the way when that shit. How's the truth doing? It's surviving. I was watching life move, now I'm diving. Where the praise at? Where they hide it? I got to make your life so enlightening. Now this could be a beautiful death. I'm jumping through dimensions, let go of the rest. Let go of the rest. This could be a beautiful death. Jumping up in our program, truth off my chest. Truth off my chest. You got the power to let the secrets go.
Dropping truth bombs no one's ever seen. Do it free from skeptics. Yeah, I bring truth to it. I guess every whistleblower needs theme music. No one man should hide all that power. The clock ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the towers. UAPs in the sky, they ain't ours. The system's broken, the truth. Truth is exposing. This is way too real. No one man should hide all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the death showers. Till then, the truth is out. And they say.
Secret staying hidden, man. SNL in the newscast, tell them Lou Elizondo got the last laugh. What you know about rolling with the grays in the night? Stephen Greer dropping truth, exposing every light. Bob Lazar in the game, know what the craft can do. Anna Paulina in the house, grilling every crew. Eric Davis on the mic, talking for alien species. When the whistleblowers speak, governments fall to their knees. Sightings in the sky, better take another look. I feel like I'm floating in the cosmic truth. Ay, UFO news dropping. Eric Davis on the mic, talking for it.
Data, Eric Ferguson. The data confirmed their presence.
Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing good today. What's going on, Chips? What's going on, Bearded Ninja? How you guys doing today? Let's get this ball rolling. Today was an interesting 34 minutes. That's how long that conference thing lasted. It wasn't that much. It was pretty short. I'm talking about the George Grush thing when he was up front there in Washington. Yeah, that was it wasn't a long time, dude. It wasn't long at all. I thought that was gonna be as soon as I seen it on the time, I thought it was gonna be like, hey, a little bit more. No, and then it was over. It was over before it started, really. Thought they were gonna be up there talking a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
Thank you for your heart.
It's one of those things, man. We are definitely
UFO chips has arrived.
UFO chips, delicious.
It's one of those things, man, that we are definitely entering a precursor of disclosure, right? Or what they try to say is disclosure. And hopefully we can get some more acknowledgement about that, man. You know, I appreciate the hell out of you, Chips. You're a true one. I like the way he said they're bipedal humanoids and sentient plasmoids. Yeah, man. There's a lady here, UFO Anna, and she follows the plasmoids quite a bit. So she was super excited that they mentioned that on there. So we're gonna probably play it again just for get everybody else that hasn't watched it up in progress and analyze the footage as we go discuss it. And I think that'd be one of the major things that we're doing here, just to talk about it in more depth here. Let me go get the News Nation, because that's where I seen it. Actually, can I go to my history? My history should have it right up. Oh, that's weird. I got it in my history, but it's like a frozen image now. I wonder if it's because it was live stream. That's weird. Yeah, let's shrink this down here. Broken Biker, what's going on, brother? How you doing? How you doing? I want to see if see if I do that. See if that. There we go. See where that goes through. Okay. All right. Let me see what's going on here, because this is like they got this on like a frozen thing. 9 p.m.
Did you send those applications?
Are they replaying it? Is that what this is? No, that's not what this is. Oh my God. Alright, pause this. Like, I went to my history and I went to here, so I don't understand that. Let me see how this plays out. Go to home. So I just gotta do this manually. Yeah, as I get set up here, man, I hope everyone's doing good. And then I gotta go into here. It's 34-minute. Let's just get this here. What is this? I don't need that. I don't need that. There we go. And there we go. Hey, what's up, Char? How you doing, Anderson? Charlie Anderson. All right. What do you think about the latest disclosure dump? Um, the May 22nd. I think the biggest we're getting crumbs right now, right? That's what we're getting. We're getting some crumbs. But that being said, you do have the PDF files that came out with some noticeable information there that if like the NASA memo that they sent to everybody that had experts in their leading fields plus military experts that were discussing about this, and they're saying that we are being contacted, we are being you know, being reached out to, you know, like it was, that memo was pretty cool. Chico, what's going on today? It was a good day for us. Yes. So we're disclosing, that's what was about, right? So we're getting crumbs right now as far as disclosure and stuff like that, but I think this is just the momentum of building up, you know what I'm saying? And like right now, let's do this. Let's play a little bit of this. Oh, I got this on mute.
Congress has held multiple public hearings on UAP, which is a dramatic shift towards transparency. And thanks to many members of Congress, the issue is now being taken very seriously. We, the people, are finally hearing accounts in a credible setting from first-hand U.S. military personnel about highly advanced unknown craft that fly rings around our frontline fighter jets. With President Trump's unprecedented directive to release UAP files, we are seeing more and more of these type of craft captured on various government sensors, and I'm told this is just the beginning. One of the aspects to the phenomenon that's spoken about with less frequency are close encounters of the third kind. Reporting by witnesses of entities of non-human sentient beings connected to the craft. Don't take it from me. Some of these reports come directly out of United States Air Force's own files.
Where should you invest?
Yo, when this was live, no commercials. Then now commercial. I gotta like a mute button here as I play, right? I think it's really interesting what Grush said about the plasmoids and what that entails to us. Because these creatures are here, right? And they have been dealing with humanity for a very long time. And to believe that they're not is, I mean, I get on Facebook, man. Facebook is like still like way behind what we're doing right now. Like they are like not even close to understanding what is going on. Like people are still arguing. I was like, you guys are nuts. Like people like still doing that shit. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? Have you even been paying attention? It is crazy. Oh.
The phrase close encounters of the third kind investigated cases for the United States Air Force from 1947 to 1969. Dr. J. Allen Hynek. According to Hynek, it was cases like those that the United States Air Force desperately tried to keep secret. Because it's one thing to try and confuse the public with weather balloons and swamp gas, and another entirely different when dealing with credible reports of non-human beings on the ground. I personally investigated one such case for over 16 years. The case occurred in Varginha, Brazil in 1996 and involves dozens of first-hand reports of UAP and direct contact with living, intelligent, non-human beings who, according to multiple Brazilian witnesses, were flown out of Brazil to the United States in January of 1996. Recently, the former Brazilian Ministry of Defense, Aldo Rebelo, confirmed the incident.
So you guys gotta understand the reason why he's talking about Brazil. This dude spent 13 fucking years researching UFO and UFO lore in Brazil. This guy spent 13 freaking years, bro. So he intimately he intimately knows about Brazilian UFO stuff. He's intimately involved in that shit, man. 13 years of being on the road and investigating Brazilian UFO freaking files and disclosure and going to these vaults and tracing down leads. Like that's hardcore, man. Yeah, yes, Chips, a legend.
Occurred and stated, if the U.S. disclosed information on this case, then we in Brazil could do the same. Mr. President, I'm respectfully requesting that you declassify and release all files related to this case and others like it. We the people have a right to know. Reality should not be classified. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And I just want to say, especially for the members standing behind us, as you know, this Congress, we were given permission to stand up the task force on declassification of federal secrets. Many of our colleagues did not believe in this up until really the videos started coming out. And had it not been for the efforts of Representative Burleson, Burchett, Moskowitz, and the countless of other members who have backed us in this fight, you probably wouldn't see some of these files and videos that are coming out today. But it doesn't just stop here. For some time, we've been pushing for there to be legislation, whether it be whistleblower protections or the UAP Disclosure Act, and it's been time and time again stonewalled by various intelligence agencies and staff within the House of Representatives, which is why we are grateful to the administration and their effort, as well as Stephen Miller's office, in pursuing the truth, something that we all should deserve transparency on. And so our next call to action will be that we are meeting with the White House. We are requesting that whistleblowers receive temporary immunity or permanent immunity, and if they are able to divulge whether it is locations of craft and or advanced technologies. As you know, this is something that we are all wanting to know the truth on. And again, without your cooperation, we wouldn't have been where we are at today. And so thank you. I'd like to now introduce Representative Eric Burleson.
Thank you all for being here today. I want to first begin by thanking everyone that's here, and I want to thank my colleagues behind me, this task force. We could not do this without the incredible leadership of Representative Luna and my colleagues on the team. We also wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the brave men and women who have come forward as whistleblowers, who have plowed that soil. We wouldn't be here without these individuals. And we also wouldn't be here celebrating the victories that we have were it not for President Trump. We finally have a leader that the...
All right, let's do this. Captain Jenny taking command.
What's going on, Jenny?
American people can trust to challenge institutions that have grown far too comfortable operating without accountability. For decades, the American people have been treated like children, told that our government secrets that they don't get to know. Don't ask, don't expect answers, just trust the process. Well, the American people are done with that answer, and I'm done with that answer. Over the last 3 years, we have made more progress on this issue than at any point in modern history. We've held hearings. We've reviewed Russian and Brazilian records, including a...
What's going on, brother?
formal FBI inquiry into the 96 Varginha incident, where witnesses alleged the Brazilian military captured non-human entities and craft and buried the truth. Today, Aldo Rebelo, who was the Ministry of Defense at the time, came forward and admitted that this event was true. We've sent targeted inquiries into MIT Lincoln Laboratories, MITRE, and every government agency that's been connected to UAP. We've worked with lawmakers across 4 continents. We've sought answers on cases like Matthew Sullivan, a would-be whistleblower whose tragic death deserves far more scrutiny than it has received. We've obtained video evidence, including the MQ-9 footage of a UAP incident off the coast of Yemen, delivered to my office through what can only be described as a Tom Clancy-style dead drop. Someone felt that they had, now think about this, someone felt they had to secretly hand information to an elected official, a member of Congress.
Damn it. All right, let me do this a second here while we talk here and break this down a little bit. Okay. So I'm pretty interested on what Eric Bernstein is talking about, right? And how he's basically they're all strategizing, right? They're all strategizing on how is the simplest strategic way to get this involved, right? And I think all of them are basically what's going on, Termite, is they're getting instrumental way here, right? The fastest way how to do about this. The fastest way is get the president to do a order. Do executive order, which would cut through all this jargon, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to get Trump to basically do executive order to literally cut through all the jargon of Congress to streamline this process, right? Basically, anybody that's in a skiff, anybody that has in contractable agreements with security and military and all this other stuff that has involved in this UFO, alien back engineering, non-human engineering technology, right? How about they do that? It's non-human tech. And I think that's the best way to go about it, especially because the Whistleblower Protection Act has died in the Senate. Yes, the whistleblower bill has died in the Senate. They were all happy, they were all smiling, and they literally put it to the side. So that being informative, we need to push this buck forward. We definitely need to get past Congress and all this, because there's a lot of bureaucracy going on both sides, the left and the right. They're both strategically slowing down progress here, and so you're going to later on reference this. No, 100%. I agree, Jenny. I agree. Oh.
To Congress. They shouldn't. We are no longer asking hypothetical questions anymore. Congress is requesting specific records and videos. These agencies and contractors know that we know that they exist, and we're going to get them released. We continue to receive credible claims of recovered craft and reverse engineering programs that may have operated for decades outside of any oversight. Those claims point to specific facilities, contractors, records, and people. Congress has a constitutional duty to follow them, and that duty does not vanish because someone stamped a document classified 30 years ago. It does not vanish because...
Thank you for telling me that. I did not realize I did that still. Sorry about that, guys.
Because some bureaucrat says so. It does not vanish because a program has become so compartmentalized that even elected officials are expected to look the other way. The Constitution gave Congress oversight, authority for a reason. No elected bureaucrat has that authority. This information is not yours to keep. It belongs to the American people. They own it, and they deserve the truth. The most important people in this story are the whistleblowers. David Grush, Admiral Gallaudet, Dylan Borland, Jeff Nusatelli, and the many others who haven't been named yet. Their careers were upended. Their families were torn apart. They endured an avalanche of stress, all because they believed this information belongs to you, the American people, and they attempted to and tried to get it to you. Some will say they should have used more proper channels. To hell with the safe way. The safe way protects the system. These are people who simply wanted the American people to see what they know, and they deserve protection. They deserve our respect, and they deserve a second chance. And we are at a different time. This is the age of disclosure. Mr. President, I'm asking you directly, waive the non-disclosure agreements that still bind these patriots. Grant immunity to anyone and everyone who has already come forward and everyone who will come forward. Open the door and let them speak. Because unless people know they will be protected, why would they come forward and step forward otherwise? It is time that we flip the script entirely as well. It has been said by people in positions that know that even presidents have been kept on a need-to-know basis, that Navy pilots, admirals, and generals describe programs to senior officials that commander-in-chiefs were never briefed on, career bureaucrats who view presidents as temporary help, here today, gone tomorrow.
We're approaching the biggest
Motherfucker.
birthday in our
I mean, Eric Burson does agree. I mean, he does need to protect those society that risk all to spread the truth. No, I agree. Like, you know, we definitely need to protect those whistleblowers, dude. Bottom line, dude. And it's one of those situations where we're not only trying to protect them, but trying to empower them, you know, by adding new laws and regulations to let them speak what the American people need to listen to, right? Because we are paying in these programs and we have no idea how long and what they have been doing without regulation, without eyesight, and literally just running amok on what you know, it's like the rats may play when fuck, I fucked that all up. Basically, when people are not looking, man, they do some horrendous shit. And I think that's one of the initial things is that we're not just talking about disclosure. We're talking about humans that are in these programs that now are not protected. If you think about this, right? Not inherently that you're not protected and being injured in these programs, your families are not going to be protected also. Just like Area 51, like literally, what's going on? 2487 down under. What's going on? Yeah, so it's one of those situations, man. Is if these have open disclosure, just parameters of safety, you know, and they don't do that. They don't do that. They just leave it like, oh no, it's top secret, and then they just let these people suffer.
That is not classification. That's a constitutional crisis. Transparency must be the default in the United States of America, and it should be required for those with knowledge to come forward, not wait for us to ask. There must be real penalties for officials who knowingly withhold information from Congress. Playing dumb is no longer acceptable. Hiding behind classification is no longer acceptable. Mr. President, you know that the agencies lie. You know that firsthand. They have lied to you. They have lied about you. They do not cooperate easily, and they never have. This is the moment. Use the authority that you have, Mr. President. The American people are behind you. And to everyone listening today in government, working for a contractor, retired, anywhere in the world, come to Congress. Come to these group of people. We will work with you. This is a worldwide call for action. And what you know, and help us please release every record, every file, and every piece of information. The time is now. Thank you. And with that, I'll yield to the General, Mr. Perry.
Clancy, what's that?
Just be brief.
Be brief, be brilliant, be gone. Well, it's good to be with you all, and it's great to be with my colleagues.
Dude, I watched this earlier today, and I do not remember this guy. I don't even know why. I took a total blank when I seen him. Like, I seen it 34 minutes, and I don't remember this guy for some reason. I don't know why. Most deaf.
Colleagues and people that want transparency in America. And just like my good friend, Mr. Burleson, Representative Burleson said, this isn't the government's information. Unless there's some kind of national security element that's going to imperil our safety, this is our information. We should have it, every single bit of it, and you shouldn't be crazy, and you shouldn't have your reputation destroyed because you want to disclose. This is our government. This is our country. This is our information, and damn it, we demand it. God bless you.
That's why I don't remember him. That was super fast, dude. So, all right.
Thank y'all. My name's
Oh, yeah.
Congressman Tim Burchett, and I know you.
Tim Burchett, it's a freaking accent was super strong in this time. It's super strong.
Y'all got up this morning and said, "Dadgum, I hope I get to stand out in the heat and listen to some redneck talk and for too long." Well, I'll keep it short. I am a redneck, proudly, but it's a pleasure being here with you. I want to first salute the bravery of these folks standing back here on the back row for their guts. This country was not created by a bunch of meek pansies. It was people that took a stand, and these fellows took a stand, and thank y'all so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate my colleagues in Congress. I even have to say it, I have to appreciate my friends in the media today, so there you go. I've crossed over the divide. But, you know, I talked to the president about this issue, and he kept his word to me. He kept his word, and I think that's important. But I think we also need to remember, too, nobody talks about how to...
No one talks about, like, I hate these commercials. It's straight 100% AI, dude. It's ridiculous.
Start chair Tai Chi when your belly sticks out like this. Your
Open it up. Yeah, it's... Oh, okay. That was a short one. That was a short commercial. They're making it shorter now. I'm glad they did. Oh.
Punk in a man bun tells me the president's on a need-to-know basis, folks. That ought to tell you right there what we're up against.
I love it. Man in a air bun. Fuck. Ah. Raymond Parson, what's going on?
Against corruption, we're up against a cover-up. This thing's been covered up at least since 1947. Dadgummit, the public deserves the right to know. It's your dadgum tax dollars. It's not about little green men or...
Or that man in a hair bun. Fuck that man in a hair bun. Shit.
Flying saucers. It's about what are we spending all these millions and possibly billions of dollars on that these idiots tell us don't exist. And then yet we turn right around in the skip and then they tell us they do exist. This is a cover-up. You all know it. We know it. We demand the answers. And dadgummit, we're going to get them. Look, we got one or two bites at this apple. Please be careful about the false information that's coming out of Washington on all this stuff. Trust your gut. You know what's right. You know they exist. You know this has been a cover-up since before most of y'all been born. Thank y'all so much. Let's keep fighting for the truth. And thank you, Donald Trump, for keeping your word to me. And you all deserve to be in that skiff with us. We shouldn't be the gatekeepers, and none else of these jugheads up here should either. All right? Let's get at it. Thank y'all.
That's right. Love how he does it, man.
And I don't care if he's across the aisle or not. He's one of the smartest guys I know in Congress, and he's one of my best friends. His name is Jared Moskowitz. Jared, come up here, brother.
All right.
So he's moving.
All right, that'll be used in my primary. Wonderful.
Oh, excuse me. I hate his gut.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't have a plastic Jesus.
Appreciate the correction for the record. Anyways, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with my colleagues. And let me thank the men and women behind them, not just for their courage, but for their service to the country. And that's what's changed. I mean, look, this conversation started years ago with people like the late Harry Reid, and then Marco Rubio and Chuck Schumer, and now my colleagues and many others in the House. But one of the things that changed is the quality and the caliber of people who are coming forward who have served our military, decorated people with the experience, airline pilots, and the technology in our hands, and the technology that our military has. That's what's changed. And what's also changed is we started asking questions, very simple questions. And this is what got me interested in the topic. We would ask questions, and they would then push back. And we would ask more questions, and the pushback became more significant. We would try to put language in an amendment, in a bill, and they would oppose it. They would secretly go to the chairman of committees to strip that language out. And that became clear to us that they were hiding something. And so listen, I don't know what the full truth is, but I know we're being lied to. And the American people know that also. And so look, the time for disclosure is now. Disclosure today, disclosure tomorrow. The American people have a right to know. We know about these advanced...
When he initially said this, I thought he was going to put disclosure today, disclosure tomorrow, disclosure all day long, and then like he just went up like a fucking disclosure, right? Just ramped it up. But he didn't do that. I was like, oh, okay.
Technology programs. We know they come out of Area 51. They did when we went to kill Osama bin Laden with an advanced technology helicopter that Congress never funded. There's trillions of dollars missing at the Pentagon. Where does that money go? And so it's time for the government to come forward. And what we need...
That's right. Disclosure forever.
We need your help. All of you here. I get asked this question by people in my community more than anything else. What does the government know, and why aren't they telling us? The American people can handle it. They can handle it. I trust them. And it's time that we tell them the truth. Thank you.
What?
Introduce yourself.
Yeah. My name is Leslie Kane. I'm one of the reporters who wrote the 2017 New York Times story that fundamentally changed the conversation about UAP.
Oh my god, dude. I thought it was the Asian lady. Remember, you guys, I'm like listening to this while I'm driving, and I'm like, I'm glancing at the screen as I'm driving, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, okay, all right. And then when she said that, I thought it was the Asian lady that comes up later. Damn it.
In the years that followed, members of Congress met with Navy pilots and received classified briefings. Some came to realize that the observed objects were highly unlikely to be American, Russian, or Chinese technology, but nobody would publicly confirm what they were. Then, in 2023, the conversation changed again. Former intelligence official and whistleblower David Grush met with members of Congress, providing them with detailed information about covert government programs that he said possessed craft of non-human origin. This had been hidden from congressional oversight for decades. I was privileged to have interviewed Mr. Grush extensively before publishing his story with my colleague Ralph Blumenthal 3 years ago. 6 weeks after the story broke, Mr. Grush testified under penalty of perjury in an open congressional hearing. While under oath, he spoke about an ultra-secret crash retrieval program and stated that some craft contained specimens or pilots, which he called non-human biologics. The potential existence of another living, intelligent, advanced species has more implications for humanity than the recovery of technological hardware. Now, the conversation needs to shift again, with more of a focus on biology and less on technology. Having served for decades on the staff of Congressional Intelligence and Defense Committees, Kirk McConnell, who is standing here today in the back.
This professional 32...
Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. Let me do that. When she was talking about biologicals, right? I was listening to Art Bell's last one of Art Bell's highlight shows. He was interviewing one of the surgeons that basically Lear, and he literally was talking about removing objects out of people's bodies that was alien abducted. Wild, deep stuff, dude. He passed away though, but the documentary is still out there. It's freaking wild. Absolutely wild.
He was present in classified settings when highly credible sources briefed senators, including Marco Rubio, about recovered non-human bodies. Unlike legitimate national security concerns that require us to keep advanced technologies of non-human origin secret, that justification should not apply to biological evidence. Knowledge of the existence of another life form, studied and documented by qualified experts, should not be considered a threat to national security.
Keep moving this fucking camera,
dude. By what authority can any institution withhold confirmation of what may be the most consequential scientific discovery in human history? Knowledge that we are not alone does not belong to any government or military. It belongs to all of humanity. Today, I call upon the President to prioritize the declassification and public release of any evidence concerning recovered, advanced, non-human biological entities. Thank you, and I turn this over now to David Grush.
David Grush!
I'm tall. I'll try to enunciate. Good afternoon. I'm here.
Dude, how tall was he? You seen that? Dude's like
here today because my leadership on the disclosure issue is part of my continued service to the nation. I took an oath as an Air Force officer swearing allegiance to the principles and the framework of the U.S. Constitution.
A fucking foot and a
I took that
half.
oath seriously
The
then,
whole camera
and I
moves.
take that oath seriously now. And if this is one of my final duties of public service, I want it to be this: helping Congress and the President restore lawful accountability over activities and spending that should never have been placed beyond constitutional oversights, and to be transparent with the American people. There are a myriad of issues across multiple cultural, religious, and institutional spectrums. The topics here that we're discussing today go beyond life in the universe. There are serious homeland security and airspace safety issues. There are relevant counterintelligence and technology protection issues that must be taken into consideration. For decades, unknown objects have freely operated in restricted airspace in large metropolitan areas and critical infrastructure, and the agencies responsible for securing the homeland cannot adequately defend against it. This is a serious national security issue. In my official duties, I was exposed to human and signals intelligence information concerning foreign adversary, UAP crash retrieval, exploitation and study efforts, adversary views on U.S. legacy program reverse engineering efforts, and U.S.-held audiovisual information related to crash retrieval matters, such as the recovered vehicles and the associated biological material. One must always be concerned about adversarial disinformation when you're getting foreign intelligence, but I was able to cross-verify this information internally to back up the foreign government assertions. Many of the president's team has been kept in the dark by high-ego, politically appointed actors, both because of incompetence and malicious intent has subverted the president's order on this issue. Furthermore, some of this foreign intelligence has not been provided to Congress despite lawful requests to the Defense Intelligence Agency last summer, and also having formally been published across the IC and analyzed by such analytical centers such as NASIC. These records belong under congressional oversight, and I believe DIA should stop obstructing Chairwoman Luna's task force and provide those documents to Congress and enter it through mandatory declassification review so the American public can see some of the foreign intelligence I had access to. Secrecy around this issue did not appear overnight. Subsequent executive orders, Secretary of Defense memorandums, compartmented security, basically nullified Congress's role with the judicial branch with oversight of this issue. Remember, classification exists to protect the nation. Executive Order 13526 discusses what can and cannot be classified. Embarrassment, hiding funds, criminal activity, and the basic information about scientific information in the universe is unlawful for it to be classified. And this is why whistleblower protections matter. Through my federal litigation ongoing with the Department of War, I learned that the Air Force worked with an external agency to seek an investigation of me for alleged unauthorized disclosures punishable under the Espionage Act after I testified in front of Congress in 2023, discussing the results of my congressionally directed investigation in the support of the first Trump administration. This should concern every member of Congress, regardless of party.
Here's what actually happened.
These commercials are tripping me out, dude. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that here. I pressed the wrong one. Okay. The commercials. Yeah, so, hey, Mac, what's going on, 56? That's cool. You love the show, brother. This is definitely entertaining, man. We go from one thing to the next. Yeah, when they start putting in personal investigations on these whistleblowers and start trying to destroy their livelihood, dude, that can't happen, man. And I think that's the major reason why they try to file for that whistleblower act, protection act. Like that needs to go through Congress, man. And it really, because they dropped it and they basically put it in a cupboard and they forgot about it. And it's like, that's so wrong. It shouldn't be. These people should have protection when they go through this, especially when on the basis of disclosing one of the biggest things in humanity, right?
To this day, I'm still fighting years of record withholding, administrative obstruction, and a prolonged effort to get a medical military retirement that I still am not in a retired status.
He's not getting an income. That's literally what's happening here. He's not having a fucking income. He's probably working on other shit right now, but not for his services.
This is also a real fraud, waste, and abuse issue. President Vance's task force is sharply focused on the issue of misuse of funds. The same accountability problem applies here. And during my investigation, I found slush funds to the tune of billions of dollars per annum for these activities. We cannot have one standard for the American people and another standard for the deep state that hide behind the veil of secrecy. President Trump has the authority to create an enduring legacy of government transparency, accountability consistent with national security protections. Disclosure should not depend on leaks. It should not depend on the public taking my word for it or anyone else's. American people deserve more than vague denials and selective releases of prior administrations, to include through troubled organizations such as ERA. I applaud the president's efforts and his promise to show true American leadership on this issue of massive worldwide interest, over 1 billion views on the File Drop website. So the time has come to stop asking the public to trust secret conclusions. Instead, provide an honest accounting of what it knows, what it's done, and what has been withheld. God bless America.
Did he say President Vance?
Disclosure should not depend on leaks. It should not depend on the public taking my word for it or anyone else's. American people deserve more than vague denials and selective releases of prior administrations, to include through troubled organizations such as ERA. I applaud the president's efforts and his promise to show true
Applaud the president's efforts. So
American leadership on this issue of massive worldwide interest, over 1 billion views on the File Drop website. So the time has come to stop asking the public to trust secret conclusions. Instead, provide an honest accounting of what it knows, what it's done, and what has been withheld. God bless America.
that's good.
I think we have about 4 minutes before they call votes to open it up for a quick round of questions. So if you guys can just, let's start with Real America's Voice.
Great. I have a question for David Bush. Can you confirm for us how many species? These reports have said that there are perhaps 4 different alien species raised. How many species are you aware of?
All right, so the question is, we're getting noticed that there's 4 different alien species. What can you say to that?
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal bipedal type life to, what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life, but there are several that the U.S. government is aware of.
So right there, he just said, yeah, he agrees that there's initially 4, but there's much more. bipedal, plasmoid, and other sentient life that they're aware of. He just says it right there. Literally.
That's America. It's a continuum from corporeal, bipedal type life to, you know, what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life, but there are several that the U.S. government is aware of.
There you go. There you go. So as disclosure increases, as disclosure continues, we're going to get higher numbers than the 4. Get you guys ready for that. There's going to be a higher numbers than the 4, and higher numbers than what Stephen Greer says, 69, right? He loves to stand on that number. They're currently right now, last time I checked, and that means like in 2002, we had 134 different species that have been visiting and coming in and out of planet Earth, and that either have touched, talked, or communicated in some way with the government. 134. That was the last number that I have seen. Now, if you translate that to different aircraft, you can see how that translates on how many different type of aircraft, spacecraft, or UAP or UFO, however you want to call it, are in the sky coming through, right? So inherently, not all these guys that come through have contracts, negotiations, have agreements, nothing like that. We're talking about these identities coming in, checking out, pitching up fish, aka us, and then dropping us like, because they give zero shits on what happens to us, right? So that has happened, and you can see that with the abductions, right? Like some of these are like, or there's some abductions like the insectoids, like the Greys, or like the Nordics, that take great care on when they take us and then put us back. They give the opportunity to put us back. See what I'm saying? Some of them don't even do that. Like that one guy in the state park, it was like they're flying, aircraft is flying, and oh, we don't need you, and just dropped them off the fucking side of the mountain. Just dropped them right off the side of the mountain, dude. He's like, he fucking hits a whole bunch of trees and all this other crap. Yeah, there's some that do not have the same temperament of care that other species do, and inherently they're not answering to anybody. Some of them are just not answering to anybody because there's no body to answer to, right? I mean, you can imagine what happens in look, to be honest with you guys, since in the last 20 years, right? In the last 20 years, we have missing persons reports that has increased by 70%. 70% worldwide. They argue that it has because of war, famine, dislocation. They argue this, but we're talking about 70%. It's not broadcast on the news. It's not discussed on the news. That 70% is fucking nuts, guys. In the last 10 years, that is nuts. Okay? So, like I said, not all these people, all these sentient beings have agreements with our government, right? So, food for thought. Just take it as you would want. Oh, we're looking over the broadcast this afternoon around 1 p.m. that David Grush was talking about.
Okay.
During the course of your investigation, it's been surfaced to the public that there's been a program by the name of Immaculate Constellation. During the course of your investigation, did you recognize that the infrastructure to support such a program for exfiltration of data from federal systems would exist?
Yeah.
So, Immaculate Constellation, have you recognized any data that has been distributed or been controlled by the government or known identities of the government?
Can't comment on the content of that program. I've discussed on my interview in Judicial Watch that was a National Security Council program, and the secrecy started in 1954 through an Eisenhower executive order that created that infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Kristen Fisher with the Endless
Yep.
Point. When you look at where we are right now in this moment for the disclosure movement,
Oh my God. But she was saying, can you discuss on the disclosure procedures now compared to, and then that's when this thing, this commercial is. But I mean, inherently, that's what it is about, right? We're trying to break down what is being done to disclosure, and I gotta pause it. There you go. And what's the protocols and how they're stopping people, right?
I think the soft.
Fisher with the Endless Point. When you look at where we are right now in this moment for the disclosure movement, what's at stake here?
I think.
Where are you when you discuss disclosure and how it's been going so far? What is your foregoing conclusion with disclosure as it comes now?
The sovereign contract between the citizenry and its government. I think the institutional rots that the lack of transparency in this issue is possibly going to cause an unattainable socioeconomic condition if the government is not transparent, akin to certain other. I don't want to say the Epstein files. That's a dirty word, but we could have that kind of scandal if we're not transparent on this issue.
And do you have any advice for people who are new to the UFO topic, the UAP topic, who just don't know where to begin? There's just so much misinformation out there. What is your advice?
Do you have any words of Beefsel that are new to the topic of UFO, and what because there's so much information and so much things to discuss on the UFO topic. For someone that is new on the UFO topic, what's basically?
I would go watch James Fox's documentaries. I like the Disclosure is a great movie. That's a good primer. So, and there is a declassified 1971 Australian formally classified secret assessment that a couple years ago was put in the Australian National Archives. I encourage people to read page 7 through 16, and that was the nuclear branch chief of the Australian government discussing the U.S. cover-up and the involvement of the CIA back in the 70s. And that's actually a little-known document that is publicly available.
David, question with whistleblower Matthew Sullivan.
This part right here is what I was hearing about.
I would go watch James Fox's documentaries. I like the Disclosure is a great movie. That's a good primer. So, and there is a declassified 1971 Australian formally classified secret assessment that a couple years ago was put in the Australian National Archives. I encourage people to read page 7 through 16.
It's wild how he goes to a different country for a certain disclosure and paragraph. It's that I was listening to that, and I'm like, man, I gotta remember that, because that's super unique.
And that was the nuclear branch chief of the Australian government discussing the U.S. cover-up and the involvement of the CIA back in the 70s. And that's actually a little-known document that is publicly available.
David, question with whistleblower Matthew Sullivan. Is there anything that you know, or is there anything that ties into what is happening here today with his testimony that never happened because he denied 2 weeks, I guess, before?
That's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing federal investigation.
It's talking about discussions of some other freaking thing, some random other shit.
Yeah.
They're leading it up, but a lot of the stuff that started happening and picking up speed is just weird that it somewhat correlates to the disclosure efforts.
What was he coming in to testify for?
That would be a question for Rep. Burleson.
Who's coming in to testify for disclosure?
Yeah.
David.
Oh, well, yeah, Mr. Sullivan was on the Legacy program. I served on active duty with him in the Air Force, but I don't want to discuss details of his knowledge until the federal investigation is complete. Okay. Yeah, Joe?
So, for those that are maybe not so familiar, can you explain right now what the roadblocks are? What is preventing lawmakers, and if lawmakers accept this, from visiting locations that have been critical to reverse engineering?
So basically, what is preventing disclosure right now? That's.
Let Burchett and Wilson.
The knowledge is there, but the ability to go and see them.
I'll take a stop at that.
And the ability to pursue this.
If Congress says we're going to go to Area 51, if Congress says we're going to go to Area 51, everybody says, go to Area 51, Burchett. All I'm going to get there is a good dadgum T-shirt, all right?
We need to publicly
This guy, he's like the heat's making his accent stronger. Like the skin's stronger with the fucking accent, bro. I'm not hating, man. I'm celebrating shit. Accent's strong with this guy. What's going on, Tab? How you doing? Tabitha in the house. Where is Tabitha?
Tabitha has arrived.
I told you I'd make it!
That is awesome stuff, man. Got some huevos, some eggs. Let's do that. Boom. I'll mute it, and then we go to it.
The moving ban's already going to be there. The problem you have is that these things have been moved into private entities, so they don't have a FOIA. I could FOIA Ford Motor Company, get her be, but doesn't mean they're gonna do anything. That's why they moved it out of the federal governments, and that's part of the roadblocks. Other roadblocks we've seen. We tried to get a committee. We've had staff members try to block us when we first started this thing with that first hearing that Grush said that there's biological entities. They tried to move it into remember that Russian balloon that flew over? They tried to move it into that. And what was it? Chinese, excuse me. They're all together. I don't care. No, I know they're not. But they tried to move it into that. We had staff members try to block us. Just the top level. We've been in a skiff before, and we had a member of Congress come in and just try to disrupt the meeting, try to disrupt Grush, throw him all these trick questions, and he answered every dadgum one of them just right off the bat. He knocked it out of the park. So.
If there's before we have to go, because this is the last question, we do have a meeting set up with the White House. The White House is going to play ball on this. So as Rep. Burleson and Burchett has stated.
All right, here's the strategy. You guys I was talking about this earlier.
They are following through on everything that we are sending them. So the next course of action and something that they are willing to entertain is if you are an intelligence official or have knowledge of locations of materials, and in doing our due diligence and following up the task force, they are considering, and I do believe that they are going to be providing immunity permanently so that people can't be hit with a violation of the Espionage Act. So again, there's a lot of people that have a lot of information, but it's really, can we prove it, and what information can we then bring?
It's probably because I got it so expanded. People say that like if I do that, it doesn't look like AI. But if I expand the screen, like people start saying that.
For to the American people, so we are still relying on you guys.
Wait a minute, let the guy he's had his hand up the whole time, ma'am. Go ahead.
I have a question for Mr.
Grush. There goes the bell.
Fucking tall. I couldn't hear him.
Quite a few, several dozen. So that's an ongoing list. So can't give you an exact number because I didn't even have full access to that information.
I'm gonna head out.
Several dozen. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Bottom line, we got to go vote. Bottom line, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the bravery of these individuals who came forward, Mr. Grush, and all of the whistleblowers. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the political courage of my colleagues who took this issue from being a fringe issue to being something that everyone is talking about and is no longer a fringe issue. And we wouldn't be here if it weren't for this president who has taken a decades-long request and finally brought us into the age of disclosure. And so, and I want to say thank you to the press as well to James and to Leslie and to everyone who has helped cover this topic. We're here to fight for the American people, fight for the truth. And again, our last call to action is we want to challenge every foreign country. Do what the United States is doing. See what we're doing here, and we want to see your country follow suit. And we want to see if any individuals have any information, do not be afraid to come to a member of Congress. We will protect you, and we will make sure that the truth is out there. Thank you.
It's shady. Y'all are the media. You figure it out. Of course there's something going on. You had 14 rabbis, 14 preachers, 14 used car salesmen disappear. You'd be asking questions. There's something going on. What?
He was pertaining that to the scientists.
Nothing to do with UFOs. I think he's just ill.
What's the biggest wow that you've seen, Congressman Burgess?
Well, since you bear a striking resemblance to Steven Spielberg, I'm going to answer this. But Matthew McConaughey is going to play Tim Burchett in the Tim Burchett story, okay? I just want you to know that.
All right.
I got to go. Thank y'all. Hey, tell your people to call their dadgum congressman, all right? We want disclosure. That's all you got to say, disclosure.
Thank you. Leslie, you doing?
All right, while that closes down, the TMZ got him while he was walking out. We're gonna get to that next. Let me catch up with the comments here. Let's see. Hell yeah, the media. Okay, so okay, I don't get that part. One of the aliens I have trapped to the barn escaped last night. Good for him. He got escapee. Thor, I guess the only left is for the ETs to show up themselves, and then a single piece of toilet paper on the planet will be gone. 100%. 100%. So the Democrats can't pull the wool over our eyes legitimately. So now it's got through the UFO stuff in the 67. Okay, I don't get that. Bro, aliens show up, we will finally prove one thing. Humanity can turn literally any world change event into a complete extinction of everything. Piece of toilet paper on the planet, 100%. Ask the question, how many species again? I think he said 12. She mentioned 4. He mentioned 2 more species on top of that, and then he says plus more, basically more species than what the initial 4 that they suggested, right? Did you see the alien picture Trump released? Is it the one where they were walking, being escorted, like they were escorting the alien? If that is, yeah, I've seen it. It's been floating around quite a bit. I made a video of it. Okay, so I think the next one is Phil Snyder seems Republican underground the Phoenix airport. Hey, speaking about what is it? Is it the Phoenix airport? No, the Denver airport is now opening up their underground layer for transportation. You remember the corridor on the ground that goes miles and miles and miles? They're opening it up for local transportation, apparently, because it's so fucking huge. Like how you have miles and miles of freaking luggage movement underneath the airport. It makes no fucking sense. Was it TMZ? Okay, so TMZ. Yeah, they cover so much stuff, man. It's kind of hard to. Wow, that's falling onto a random... I think it was a short that he was talking to him. He was walking, they were walking and talking. Yeah, that covers so much stuff. Yeah, it's the latest. Let's see, it's here. The one that I seen was on X. But you think it'd be here too, right? Is this the one? Yep.
TMZ, you're the whistleblower who really made the UFO debate mainstream. Do you know people who work in the Pentagon right now who are too scared to speak out right now about UFOs or extraterrestrials?
Certainly, because of what happened to me had quite a chilling effect with current and retired federal employees. So certainly, yeah.
So there are a lot of people right now who want to speak out, but maybe are too scared to.
Absolutely, that's a fair statement.
Given, the way I kind of view UFOs, everyone's talking about how we need more transparency, but if this information becomes public, don't you think there's a chance that the American public will lose their mind and think, what else is the government hiding about us? Like, can it turn into a bad thing?
That's certainly a possibility. I don't know what else. This is the only conspiracy I know about, but I think that is a concern of mine.
You said that you know of extraterrestrial life. Do you think that this could be dangerous to us?
Yeah, TMZ's on it, man. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to show you guys. That this gets more and more interesting as we go along. I'll tell you what, dude. Because at the end of the day, they're discussing openly, and now they're discussing openly about how many extraterrestrials there are, right? Even plasmoids. How often have you heard of them talking about plasmoids? Not one time. I haven't heard any of these whistleblowers until just recent them talking about plasmoids. Plasmoids. And if anybody's wondering about the plasmoids, yeah, first time, right? It's like they're opening it up, right? They're opening it up to discussion. And like I said, as we go longer and longer with this disclosure, we're going to find out there's more and more of different type of extraterrestrials that have them they talk about besides the four, right? So this is another one. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I gotta see tickets, man. I gotta see tickets. I'll probably do it tonight. Look at tickets. But this is
Stephen Diener here, UAP Podcast, back in DC, as you know, and well, this guy here, the one and only Jeff Nusatelli. Jeff, it's a pleasure to be here with you in DC again. I know this is something that obviously is near and dear to your heart, being at the last congressional hearing, being a witness, and now here we are today for the next step, this call to action for UAP transparency and for whistleblower protection. So what can we expect from this press conference today as we are here gathered around to hear more from David Grush and others?
I'd say expect the unexpected. What this is really about is trying to declassify reality. There's parts of reality that we're not allowed to know about, and David Grush is putting, himself out in the front of this fight to try to ask the president to declassify parts of this phenomenon because it should not be withheld from humanity.
If you could say one thing, Jeff, before we start here, because I know we're gathering around, to the president or to his staff, to his advisors about this issue, what would you say?
I would say that we, the people, have the right to know what our government is doing, and our military members have a right to know that they're engaging in this phenomenon, and we need to bring this out in the open. We need to destigmatize this topic so the people, we the people, not celebrities, can feel comfortable starting to share their experiences. That's what this is about. This is about the people. It's not, for me, it's not so much about crashes and recoveries and technology. It's about what this phenomenon does to us and how it affects us.
Very good. Jeff Dutelli, thanks, buddy. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You see this, we go through all of them. You get all the inside and out, before and afters. we cover it all here. Before the wedding, after the wedding, the buffet line. We get in there. Make sure we cover all angles here. Because that was like a 30-minute thing. It was it, man. What's this one? This moment customer okay. This has already been noted. Let's see here. What is this? Whistleblower Gail Markery, I am registered nurse. This is COVID. Yeah, there's a lot of horrendous shit that happened during that time. Let's see if I can do control. Reduce the image. I can't. David Grush, Australian National Archives. I encourage people to read page 7 through 16. Link. They declassified 1971 Australian formally classified secret assessment that a couple of years ago was put in the Australian National Archives. Encourage people to read it. Please give me a link. See, man? You see? I think Chips was asking about that. Hopefully Chips didn't lead the search for it. Put that in the chat here. There we go. So, okay. Let me put that in the Discord also, so we don't lose it. All right. Oh man, it's loading. This is loading. Okay, so he said page 7 through 16. Let's speed this up here. Let's get Orion here to fast forward us. Hey Ryan, we just finished watching David Grush with the meeting that he had in Washington. They mentioned about basically this Australian National Archive, page 7 through 16. Yeah, highly encourage us to read it. I figured I'd just do a shortcut and send it to you and see exactly what it is.
It's a 1971 memo by Harry Turner, head of Australia's Joint Intelligence Organisation Nuclear Branch. He reviews old US Air Force and CIA docs and basically says, early investigations found real objects with impossible flight tech, likely extraterrestrial, but the US ran a deliberate public debunking campaign to hide their own reverse engineering efforts and keep the Soviets from panicking people or getting ahead. He calls out the CIA's role in pushing the ridicule strategy while secretly funding anti-gravity and saucer projects. Turner argues Australia shouldn't just copy the US public stance and should study it properly instead. It's an interesting historical intel assessment, but it's still an analysis of old reports, not hard proof of anything. Worth the read if you're into the history, though.
Alright, so that's basically...
Yeah, that's the gist. Anything specific in there you want me to dig into or explain further?
the anti-gravity research.
Turner says the US launched a crash program into anti-gravity right after the big 1952 UFO flap. They funded universities, top physicists like Oppenheimer and Teller, and companies like Glenn Martin, Convair, and Sikorsky. 46 projects by 1966, most run by the Air Force. He calls it completely irrational for normal science at the time, so the only explanation that makes sense to him is they believed UFOs were real and using gravity control for propulsion. They wanted to crack it before the Soviets did.
Hey, 1953, $10,000. Inflation, what is that equivalent to do in today's dollars?
About $125,000 in today's money. 10 grand back in 53 had the buying power of roughly 125K now.
They're talking right here on 7. Control of public awareness of UFO situation was tightened by the issue of the JANAP 146 in 1953, which prohibited the service personnel from discussing UFOs by threatening defaulters with up to 10 years goal and up to $10,000 fine. So $120,000 in today's money. When service personnel resigned or retired, however, it was possible to reveal USA Air Force altitude opinions even if the actual data was still restricted. In this way, many intelligence officers associated with the UFO problem, including Major D. Fornan, who was Blue Book project officer at the Pentagon until 1952, Captain E. Ribble, who headed the project.
Yeah, that part's key. They're saying the military basically gagged their own people with serious prison time and massive fines. But once officers retired, they could talk more freely. That's why you got people like Ruppelt and Fournette dropping hints later. The system was designed to keep serving personnel quiet while the brass still got the real story behind closed doors.
That's interesting. Throughout the UFO the phenomenon, there has been a persistent form of official pronouncements which state that the percentage of unknown would be reduced if more data were available. The above table extraction that statements report of excellent, reliable journals stem from astronomers to pilot to scientific to surveyor to meteorologists, radar operators, and complete with instruments valued and accurately detailed accounts of the introduction of good, reliable reports preventing the ready percent interpretation and all probability of over average of 19%.
That one's a punchy little paragraph. They're basically saying, even when you get really good, detailed reports from credible people, pilots, radar guys, astronomers, meteorologists, all with instruments, you still end up with about 19% of cases that can't be explained. And that number doesn't go down no matter how good the data is. It's one of the strongest points in the whole document. They don't buy the "if only we had better data" excuse. Even with excellent reports, nearly 1 in 5 cases stays unknown.
That's actually pretty interesting. everybody was saying it's like only 1%, 2%. This thing says 19.7% unidentified, unexplained. So that's like almost 2.5 times what they have reported that they can can't explain.
Yeah, that's the whole game. Official statements keep saying it's just 1 or 2% unidentified, but Turner calls that out as misleading. When you actually filter for only the high-quality, well-documented cases, that unexplained number jumps to almost 20%. So they're downplaying it by mixing in all the garbage reports and then saying most of it goes away with better data. That's the trick.
If that's the case, man, there's a lot more reports out there that they haven't told us or discussed to us about what's going on in this subject, which is pretty wild, right?
Yeah, exactly. If 19% of their best reports still can't be explained, that means there's a ton of serious cases they never released to the public. The official line that it's all explained except 1 or 2% just doesn't hold up when you look at their own internal numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's actually pretty wild. This just goes to show you how frequent we're being visited. You know, it's a lot bigger numbers than. Thank you for the gift, Val. I appreciate it, man. DJ Spider, appreciate it, brother. And the likes, man. 12,000 likes. Those are awesome.
No problem. Glad I could help break it down. And yeah, it's definitely bigger than they let on.
Let's see here.
This year? You mean like so far in 2026? Or you got a specific question about what's happened this year with UAP?
Yeah, this is definitely intriguing, man. We're already on page 16 right now. The Directorate of Air Force Intelligence and the component of RAF that is responsible for analytical of all official reports of unidentified flying objects. At no stage has there been more than one part-time officer allocated to this task. Initially, investigation will report and often undertaken by part-time investigations for nearby air bases. The RAF admits that its interests lie solely in the area of air defense, and it lacks both interest and components to consider scientific aspects. Of 1957 request for scientific intelligence sections of JIB to accept UFO responsibility was rejected by JIB in 1968, and the Department of Office statement that it intended to take up further the question of Commonwealth Department and Defense Supply Educational Science Prime Minister Department, and to see whether some Commonwealth agency is better to be assumed to responsible for this unidentified flying object. So basically they're saying the Air Force is not taking this serious. Someone else needs to take responsibility of this, a different platform. That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, you got it right. They're admitting the RAF treated it like a side gig. Literally one part-time guy handling everything. No real resources, no scientific interest, just is it a threat to airspace, and that's it. Every time someone tried to hand it off to a proper scientific or intelligence group, it got rejected. So for years, one of the most reported phenomena in the world
Wait a
was stuck
second.
with whoever had
Memory serves me right. Wasn't there a letter 1961 about radio band best communication to talk to alien contact or extraterrestrials, 1961, in reference to the restricted air radio band that was restricted like 10 years earlier.
I'm not seeing any specific 1961 letter about a radio ban for talking to extraterrestrials. The big radio restrictions came earlier, like JANAP 146 in 1953, which is exactly what the Australian memo references. It banned military and civilian pilots from openly discussing UFO sightings over radio, with those heavy penalties you mentioned. The 1961 stuff people talk about is usually either the Betty and Barney Hill
No,
abduction
no,
case
no, no, no.
or the start.
What radio band frequency was restricted? Prior, it was like almost 10 years ago. I think it was 1957, 1953, and then it was a memo in 1961, 5 years before we had the big wow signal.
No, I can't find any 1961 memo about a radio band being restricted specifically for alien contact. The main restriction you're thinking of is still JANAP 146 from 1953, which banned military and aviation personnel from openly discussing UFO sightings over
No,
radio or
no,
public.
no. It's not that. It's not that. What radio ban is restricted for people using it? Civilization, civilians.
No, there wasn't a specific radio frequency banned for civilians to talk to aliens.
So there's no I'm not talking about aliens, dude. What frequency is banned for civilians to use?
No, there wasn't a specific radio frequency or
fucking
band
God.
banned for civilians. JANAP 146 didn't restrict any particular channel. It just said you couldn't openly broadcast UFO sightings over the radio in plain language. You had to file a special secure report instead.
Okay,
It
so
applied to both military.
the JAP 146, right? But the frequency, the radio band 1420 MHZ.
$1420 megahertz. That's the one you're thinking of. It's the famous hydrogen line frequency, right around 1420.4 megahertz.
That's the one.
It's
That's the one. They did a memo 1961. I think it was in the government, or maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Maybe it's not called a memo.
No, there's no government memo from 1961 that banned or restricted the 1420 megahertz band for civilians. That protection came internationally in 1959 at the ITU conference in Geneva. They made the band around the hydrogen line exclusive for radio astronomy, so nobody could transmit there and mess up the science. The 1961 thing you're thinking of is probably the famous Green Bank Conference, where scientists like Frank Drake first seriously discussed listening for alien signals on exactly that frequency. It wasn't a band
That's
memo.
it!
It was the opposite.
That's the one! That's the one I'm talking about. Jeez. Okay, 1961, the famous Green Bank Conference that specifically quoted that stupid hydrogen thing, 1420 MHZ. That's what I've been trying to say all along.
Got it. We're on the same page now. Yeah, the 1961 Green Bank Conference. That's when Frank Drake and about a dozen top scientists got together at the observatory. That's where he rolled out the Drake equation for the first time to figure out how many alien civilizations might be out there broadcasting signals. They zeroed in on 1420 megahertz because it's the natural frequency of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, so any smart civilization would probably know to use it or listen around there. It wasn't a government memo banning anything, just scientists picking the smartest frequency to search on.
Alright, so what do you call when it's restricted then? For civilian
really called
use?
a ban or restriction on the frequency itself for civilians in the way you're thinking. It's simply called the hydrogen line protection or the 1420 megahertz radio astronomy allocation. the International Telecommunication Union set aside that specific frequency band so no one is allowed to transmit on it. Governments, radio stations, cell phones, military, civilians, nobody. It's reserved exclusively.
So basically they restrict that radio band. They made this conference you're talking about, the famous Green Wall conference, that talk about this actual radio thing, right, in 1961. Now, back to my point before we got down this fucking rabbit hole of this misinformation, discommunication, right? What I was stating here is they were saying in the memo of JPEG 146, basically stating about between 1960 and 1965 of basically talk to communication with extraterrestrials that shouldn't be talked up on the radio. It almost inherently feels like that ban aligns with the conference from 1961 that referenced the best communication with possible extraterrestrials.
No, they're not connected. Janat 146.
I'm not saying it's connected. I'm not saying it's connected. I'm saying it's kind of ironic that it aligns with the same timeline.
Yeah, the timing does line up kind of funny. Janat 146 drops in 53, then 1959 they protect the 1420 megahertz band, and 1961 you got the Green Bank Conference where they're actively talking about listening for ET signals on that exact frequency. So while the two things aren't officially linked, you've got the military clamping down on open UFO talk. Right around the same era, scientists start seriously planning how to listen for alien radio signals. It does feel a little too neat.
That's my point. That's what I was trying to explain before we went down this fucking trying to understand what the fuck we're talking about. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of weird how basically the same time that they're banning this frequency for restricting the frequency for civilian use because they were using it for astronomy and astronomers, then this was inherently happening at the same time. Two separate stories, same timeline, which is weird, right? They reserve the bandwidth for scientific research, basically, I think. Exactly. And then almost in 1961, all right, so they banned it in 1959, but then in 1961, they did a conference, the green something, and they were like, man, this would be a really good frequency to communicate with extraterrestrial life.
Yeah, you got it. The timeline's a bit sus. 1959, they officially reserve 1420 megahertz so nobody can transmit on it. 1961, scientists hold the Green Bank Conference and say this is the perfect frequency to listen for alien signals. So right after they lock the band down for science only, the first big meeting happens where they openly talk about using that exact quiet band to hunt for ET. It's not a conspiracy, but yeah, the timing is weirdly convenient.
Yeah, it's strange how both of these things are happening at the same time.
It is strange. You've got the military cracking down hard on public UFO chatter in the 50s, while at the exact same period scientists are quietly carving out protected frequencies and starting serious SETI work. Two different worlds, same decade, both suddenly very interested in what might be out there. Makes you wonder what they were really thinking behind the scenes.
Alright, if Australia is to follow the U.S. lead instead of following the public U.S. Air Force altitude, it would preferably be followed with the U.S. Air Force CIA role of concentrating on gaining knowledge of power resources revolving. However, it may be preferably act independently of the U.S. initiation in the program that is scientifically sound and intellectual honest toward revealing the UFO mystery in such ventures. So yeah, basically do your own research.
Yeah, that's exactly what Turner's pushing for at the end. He's saying Australia shouldn't just blindly copy America's public nothing to see here story. Instead, they should either quietly get in on the real US program that's studying the actual technology and power systems, or better yet, just do their own independent, honest scientific investigation without the secrecy games. He clearly thinks the US public stance is bullshit and wants Australia to actually try figuring it out for real.
That's interesting. So they were open and they were basically in open discussions of this phenomenon, and that's pretty wild.
Yeah, exactly. Turner is being surprisingly blunt and open about it. He's basically saying the official story the public got was a load of crap, and that the Americans were running a hidden program the whole time. He even calls out the whole debunking campaign as deliberate deception. For a classified intel memo, it's pretty damn honest.
That is pretty wild. All right, back to it.
Yeah, it's one of the more direct government documents you'll see on the topic. Not many officials were willing to call out their own side like that.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Yeah, it really is. The fact that someone at his level wrote this in an official memo back in '71 is pretty rare.
Yeah, this adds on to this. Breaking news: orange wristband reversible. What? Man, people, man, with their random shit.
It's wild how all this random stuff keeps piling up. Makes you question a lot of what we've been told, right?
That's funny. They got him as the Matrix.
Yeah, sometimes it really does feel like we're living in the Matrix.
David Grush is what is it? Neo from the Matrix.
Neo, Keanu Reeves' character.
All right, let's see here. Okay, we had to do that. As soon as they start doing that, I get fucking infractions. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Trailer. Citizens for disclosure. All right, so their next alignment with pushing this segment, right, is literally to
Yeah, go ahead. What's the next part?
So the next alignment for working this goal, right, is to literally try to get the president to write a what's going on here? What just came up?
Yeah, go on. What part just came up?
All right, so basically they're trying to get President Trump to write a executive order to protect the whistleblowers indefinitely, a reference to the UFO phenomenon, any project that they worked on, any sequence of extraterrestrials that they worked alongside, and have indefinite whistleblower immunity, man, I'm messing it up, to get them to disclose when inherently they already were working on these projects. So I'm understanding that Luna and David Grush is they're going to work on that premise to get that, see if they can do that with President Trump.
Got it. Yeah, that's the main push right now from the new group in Congress. Luna, Burchett, and others working with Grush. They're trying to get Trump to sign an executive order that gives indefinite whistleblower protection to anyone involved in these legacy UAP programs so they can come forward without getting legally destroyed or silenced. The idea is to finally open the floodgates on what people inside those programs actually know. That's their current play.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Not like Luis Elizondo recently stated to have a 90-day probationary protection period, which that doesn't make much sense to me. Have they done that in the past?
Yeah, that 90-day thing has come up recently. It's not a standard preliminary protection period that's been used before on this topic. What you're probably hearing is either Grush and others saying disclosure could escalate in the next 60 to 90 days, or the push for immediate, permanent immunity instead of the usual temporary whistleblower protections that exist now. The current system gives some safeguards, but they're limited, easy to challenge, and don't fully override NDAs or security clearances. That's why Luna and the group want Trump to issue an executive order for indefinite, ironclad protection, because the existing setup clearly isn't cutting it.
That is wild. Yeah, it's obviously someone's interrupting the flow of information here on this segment, and they inherently are doing a really damn good job.
Exactly. Somebody's clearly still gatekeeping hard. The fact that even high-level whistleblowers like Grush still can't speak freely after years shows the system is working exactly as designed to keep the flow of information tightly controlled.
Which leads into the executive order.
Exactly. That's why they're pushing for a new executive order. The current whistleblower protections clearly aren't enough, so they want Trump to sign something much stronger, full indefinite immunity specifically for people coming forward on UAP and non-human intelligence programs. That's the only way they believe the real information will finally come out.
I think that's
Still
the only
wild
way,
how
right?
much is...
Say what?
Yeah, pretty much. Without serious ironclad protection, most of those people inside those programs aren't going to risk their freedom or their families.
No, I 100% agree, and it shouldn't be no reason why they should, you know.
Exactly. There's really no good reason to keep hiding it at this point. The longer they drag it out, the more it looks like they're protecting something they shouldn't be.
No, 100%. It's one of those situations, dude. It's like, either get out of the kitchen or start cooking.
Exactly. Either shit or get off the pot.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Let me see here.
I'm right here. Let me know when you find it.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
Durano Aerospace, your last chance to invest $3.10 a share. The future of flight is being built for your garage. Invest in the company. Redefine personal aircraft ownership with H1X engineering for safety and performance. That looks next tier freaking awesome. I'm not climbing in that.
Haha, yeah, that looks wild. Those little flying pods look straight out of a sci-fi movie. That being said, anytime you hear last chance to invest on a stock, that's usually a big red flag. Those kinds of hype videos are normally just marketing to pump the price, not real financial advice. Wouldn't put any money in it personally.
Yeah, DJ Spider, I hope Trump does agree to sign the executive order. Yeah, I think that would definitely push forward this topic a lot farther than it has been, right? And we won't, I mean, like right now, the more we discuss about it, the more people that hear about this, the more that the normies get exposed to this topic, the more the less fringe that this topic becomes, right? And we're not just talking about this topic, but other aspects of it. Whistleblowers coming forward, pilots, astronauts coming forward, people that inherently have been coming forward for as long as I've been around, and before that, and for them not to get their livelihood stripped and destroyed, and then they wonder like, why don't more whistleblowers come out? Why is there no whistleblowers? And it's like, yeah, it's because they're freaking terrified, and they're living for their livelihood, and their livelihood just got stripped from them. I mean, it's inherently, that's one of the major reasons. That's why you hear a lot of these whistleblowers that come out after they've been retired for a very long time. Okay, I'm about to leave this world. Let me drop some crazy info, you know.
Exactly why the good whistleblowers usually only speak after they've been retired for years. They're finally out of reach. While they're still active or recently retired, most of them stay quiet because the risk is just too high. That's why this executive order matters. If Trump actually signs something that gives real, permanent protection, you'd probably see a wave of people coming forward who are still relatively young and still have a lot of direct knowledge. That's the difference between getting old-timer stories versus fresh, high-level testimony.
Would you put money in SpaceX IPO stake shares? I'm hearing that the IPO is going to skyrocket. A lot of people that are currently invested in it, people that work in the company right now, are going to become multi-millionaires. Can you check that, Orion? I heard that on something I read today.
No, I wouldn't put money in the IPO at $135 a share. SpaceX is going public this Friday, June 12th, at a $1.77 trillion valuation. Yes, lots of employees are about to become millionaires because they got shares years ago for dirt cheap. That part's true, but buying on day one at that price? History shows giant IPOs like this often pop at first, then underperform the market long term. It's already priced like it's going to own the entire space economy. I'd wait for it to settle and see how it actually trades.
What is it called? The bouncing cat or whatever?
You mean the viral videos of cats standing straight up on their hind
No,
legs?
no. There's a trading term. The bouncing cat, or the bouncing, basically when money gets dropped at a certain speed and then it bounces when it hits its pivotal, like dead end, so it bounces off the bottom and it has a bounce. It's called a bouncing cat or something.
It's called a dead cat bounce. That's the trading term you're thinking of. When a stock or market drops hard, then bounces back up for a bit, but it's fake. It quickly falls again. Just like the old saying, even a dead cat will bounce if it falls from high enough. You were super close with bouncing cat. Most people just call it a dead cat bounce.
Messed that all up. Okay. What's going on with Bob Lazar?
Bob Lazar's back in the spotlight right now because of a new 2026 documentary called S4, The Bob Lazar Story. It just dropped on Amazon Prime. He narrates it himself, and they used CGI plus full-scale models to recreate what he says he saw at S4 near Area 51. He's been doing fresh interviews with George Knapp, Joe Rogan, and others promoting the film. Same story he's told for decades, working on alien craft propulsion, Element 115, the whole thing. Nothing new on the credibility side, though. Still no school records, no co-workers confirming he was there, the usual debate.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Gotcha. I'm right here with you. Take your time.
So, I bought XRP crypto, still waiting for it to skyrocket. Yeah, I bought XRP a while back, and I sold all my stuff like almost 2 years ago. And it's because initially when I found out that, because inherently I was holding it because I was expecting America to have a cryptocurrency. And then when I found out that what is it called? They were using a different crypto code, and they're going to just get away from XRP. Then I was like, oh fuck, that's not going anywhere. But that being said, that doesn't prevent the hype. People, coming into it for the hype, even though they're not going to use that currency coding.
XRP is currently sitting around $1.16 to $1.24. It had a huge run-up after Trump won in 2024, shot up to almost $3 at one point, but it's given a lot of that back this year. You're right about the hype part. A lot of people bought expecting the US government to make XRP a major reserve asset or use it as their main crypto. The government did create a digital asset stockpile that includes XRP, but it's mostly just stuff they seized, not them actively buying it like Bitcoin. The big regulatory clarity bill, Clarity Act, is still moving through Congress, which could help. If you're still holding from lower prices, you're probably up nice. Just know the to the moon narrative cooled off a bit.
Good times, good times. All subjected. Okay, so I'm hearing that the animals in that one dude farmer, Mike Leo, his animals are starting to die after this UFO encounter event. I'm assuming it's probably people going on his land and messing with him.
Got it. You're talking about Mike Mendez, the rancher in Arizona who had multiple UFO sightings on his property.
No.
There's been reports of his...
No, the Brazilian guy. The Brazilian dude.
Yeah, that's Make Leao, the Brazilian guy who went viral a couple weeks ago after filming lights near his property in Paraná. He says after the video blew up, people started showing up, trespassing, damaging stuff, and some of his animals have been dying, including his pet goat, Margarita, and some others that were apparently run over inside his property. He believes it's intentional harassment or intimidation. You're probably right. Most people following the story think it's just crowds of curious people or opportunists messing with him because the video got millions of views, not anything to do with the lights themselves. The UFO part itself has already been debunked as lights from a distant campsite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He has an image here like making a fire and stuff. I don't know what's all that about. Let me see if I can't translate this. Here we go. The revolting, disgusting end to Mark story. I know there are already a lot of posts about him, but this needs to be commented. The answer to everything is here in this hard driving burnout. If someone invaded your property, kill all of your animals and have cameras, we'll keep those videos like previous mental analytical, every single frame of them looking on clues. You should only this is giving you they're giving advice like you shouldn't do that. You should only do it under these circumstances.
Yeah, here's the real advice. He should not act clueless on camera or pretend nothing happened. That's the worst thing he can do. If people are actually breaking into his property and killing his animals, he needs to do these 3 things right now. File a police report immediately for animal cruelty and trespassing. Install security cameras as fast as possible. That's actually smart. Stop posting emotional crying videos every time something happens. It's just bringing more weirdos to his land. The more dramatic he acts online, the more people show up. He should document everything quietly with cameras and let the police handle it instead of turning it into daily content. That's what he should do.
Thank you for the gift, DJ Spider.
Thank you for the love. Let's dance. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Alright, it looks like I lost my chat here.
No worries, I'm right here. What do you want to talk about?
I'm just looking for my chat.
Let me know when you find it. I'm right here.
Great.
Yup.
This. Go down. There you go.
Found it? What's up?
I gotta prioritize this image here somehow, and I can't do it here. But it's been working pretty darn good as far as what we're doing, discussing, you know? Alright, so there's people going on his land, killing his animals, subjecting, and now he's like, he can't handle this anymore, all this other mess, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. The guy went from having a weird light in the sky to now dealing with people breaking into his property, killing his animals, and harassing him non-stop. He's clearly overwhelmed, and it's turning into a nightmare for him. This is what happens when something goes mega viral. The
Alright. Let's do this. Orion, you still there? I guess I lost him already.
Here with you.
Alright, that's what's up. Alright, so initially with this information, right, we can safely say we might get something in the next 2 weeks. I mean, the government works super slow, so if these 2 next drops are not anything, right, if they're big nothing burger, we might see Jeremy Corbell drop some wild stuff in his community, right? As far as UFO disclosure, I don't think he's going to necessarily do that, but stuff that he has recorded, that he has captured, I think that is going to be a kind of hard sell, like it can't work.
Yeah, I hear you. If these next 2 big drops turn out to be nothing burgers, I wouldn't expect Jeremy Corbell to drop some massive game-changing UFO video right after. That's not really how he operates. He usually drops stuff when he wants to, not to fill a gap. And even when he does drop...
Good times. Let's see here, guys. Thank you for you guys for dropping by. I'm gonna cut it quits. Thank you for all the gifts, all the heart memes, and just coming by and all the comments. I appreciate it. And if you guys been here this far, you are disclosure.
What you know about rolling with the grays in the fleet? When your mind goes blank, got abducted in your sleep. When these humans talk too much, reptilians take a seat. Yeah. I feel like a hybrid in the deep. What you know about flying in a plasma stream? When your brain gets zapped, it's the cosmic beam. When the humanoids show up, everything gets serene. I feel like an convoy in a starship dream. She say that I'm weird, damn straight. I'm like, you ain't seen the sphere. I believe in UAPs, don't believe your TV. She keep playing me close, but I'm watching from close. You don't really know my intel, let me beam you the truth like Roswell. Floating out in the craft, no fuel, we just bending mad. See that light, it moves so fast. See my soul ain't stuck in past. Didn't know which form I'd wear, gray or blue with a reptile stare. Frequency up, feel that surge. I'll ascend this realm full purge. Let's decode this line for a second. I'm awake, even if they don't believe I vibrate. No fake, everything I do is kinetic. I don't need text, telepathy.